Welcome, everybody, to Week 12 Fantasy Football and DFS Outlook. Appreciate everybody stopping by tonight. I want all y'all to give your well wishes to our man Phil here. He is feeling a little under the weather tonight, so
appreciate it.
any thoughts and prayers out to my man here to so he can get better.
appreciate it. Dying over here.
Yeah. Before we get cracking, first thoughts
What's
about
good?
Thursday.
Fresh is back.
There
What
he
up,
is.
Fresh?
There he is. And
How you like that jersey?
He's getting it framed, he said.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
happy late birthday.
Dude,
Happy late birthday, Fresh.
You got two kids, man. They bring home everything. So you get hit with everything. Especially when one's a VPK, dude. I feel like
You get
those
everything.
places are just it's just flu, pneumonia, RSV, and a bubble, dude. And they just
You got
bring
it.
it home.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Nothing but getting sick, dude. That's why it's like they do the God's work there and the devil's work at school.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So, anyways, y'all's thoughts about Thursday?
I mean,
Are
I'm
the
not gonna
Steelers
toot my
bad?
own horn, but I called that. I called the Browns and I called Chubb. I'm on like a little hot streak for calling captains lately, so y'all should be cracking them on DFS.
Oh yeah, that was a guy. I mean, Chubb. Like I said, that's what I said. I was wavering back and forth between him and Ford, and then I was like, okay, I did the math and plugged them both together for that last game, and Chubb was it, right? Like literally. But every time at the end, I kept seeing Ford in the game, and I was like, stop it, get him out, get him out of the game. Stop
Yeah, I saw that
it.
too.
I think they were still trying to kind of ease Chubb back into it, just coming off of that injury. I know in the last step, I had said that he was though getting 4.5 a carry, I believe, in that last game, and you could see that kind of translating over into this performance. I was just nervous given the fact that the Steelers defense, how much production he would be able to get off of it, but he did end up having a great performance there. On the flip side, I was kind of nervous about Najee Harris. I run him in my fantasy league, and it kind of went the way I thought it would. Kind of needed a touchdown to kind of make that a nice performance, but unfortunately it didn't. So going in to this week on the season long, a little down, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, Cedric Tillman. I was about to say Charles Tillman, but Cedric Tillman coming out of the game hurt a little bit. But I mean, we did say Jerry Jeudy could do work, and he did. So I think that was a pretty
2
good
games
call
of
on us.
11 plus targets.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so look fresh. Oh, that gives
That's
me the
fire.
warm fuzzies. Fresh.
It's fire, fresh.
So, but yeah, so we can hop in kind of straight into it since we don't want to hang around too long let Phil get some rest. So, first game, and again, I want to give this to anybody that's new to the podcast here that might be listening for other reasons. We do not talk about every game specifically. We highlight a handful that have the highest point potential, because that works the best for the DFS. And then if you have specific questions about specific games that we do not talk about or players that we don't talk about, ask them in the chat and we will answer them once we get through the handful of slated games that we want to talk about, because we'll answer them. I mean, we won't shy away from them, but we have specific ones that we like to target because it works the best for fantasy purposes. So, and this being the reason why this one, you're like, why are you looking at New England and Miami? And Miami has one of the highest team totals on the slate. Not the highest, but one of the highest. I believe the third highest. Tied with
I think I think last week we had the Jaguars and Detroit, and it was sort of around the same point total. And we were kind of like, well, how do you get to that total? It's because of a really good offense on one side. And I think this is what, in a kind of a suspect defense on the other side, that's what you have here, I believe, in this matchup. I think you actually have an offense that's really starting to hum, starting to come together. They've just lost a couple games close, but they are actually putting up points in the Miami Dolphins. And going up against a subpar defense in the Patriots on the other side.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like I like the running backs here. I think they played earlier this season, and Mostert and Wright had a crazy game against them because A-Chain got hurt, but A-Chain's back now, so I think he'll feast in this game.
I think that's that's good. I don't really like hardly anybody ever from the Patriots, but on the other side of the ball, I like Hunter Henry. I believe Hunter Henry is one of those guys that he's there when you need him in a pinch. And if you're trying to get in this game and you're trying to get somebody from the Patriots just in case, like, and this is for season long as well. If Hunter Henry, he's like tight end number 6 in the league right now, PPR.
Yep.
So, I mean, I believe against Miami, what do you have?
Yeah, that's a good call. Miami's given up 20 fantasy points to the tight end the last 2 games.
I mean, he's in week 5. You go back and look in week 5. He only had 5 points because he had 2 receptions on 4 targets for only 32 yards. But that was with Jacoby Brissett throwing in the ball. Drake May is like looking for him often right now. I mean, last week against the Rams, he went 6 for 9 for 63. And then 2 weeks prior to that against Tennessee, he went 7 for 8 for 56. So he's only had 1 touchdown this season. But in PPR, you're looking for those receptions and those yards. So that I like. That's the guy I like, I believe, the most on the other side of the ball in this game.
What's the injury report looking like so far?
So let me see real quick.
Also, Tyreek Hill is going to be probably shattered by Christian Gonzalez.
Christian Gonzalez?
What that's worth. But until they lower Tyreek's price, dude, I just can't play him. Like, he hasn't. I think it was week 1's the only week that he's gotten value.
I mean, that price tag at what is he, 8 something? Actually, he's only 7,200. I mean, he's not.
I need him to be in the 6s, man.
Yeah,
he got to have a 6 in front of his name with his production. And he's still getting. Oh no, he's not. All right, yeah. Hold on. Yeah, he's still getting high ownership. Dude's like the 6th highest owned wide receiver right now.
I think they see this matchup, and so ability to eat off of it.
So for the Patriots, here's something that could be the reason why Tyreek Hill is high. So defensive tackle Christian Barmore is did not practice and is questionable. Cal Duggar, one of their safeties, was questionable. He's limited in practice. Christian Gonzalez is actually on the injury report with a hip. He was limited in practice. So a hip injury against Tyreek Hill. I mean, just that minor amount there could be the difference, So Anthony Jennings, linebacker, questionable. Tackle Vidarian Love, questionable. There's a lot of
that night game fresh probably gonna pop off, but I know you're FanDuel, that's right up your alley.
So that
I don't know ownership on that. I'll check for you too. Let's see.
Dietrich Wise questionable, Keon White questionable. Shit, there's a lot of questionable guys. Cole Strange guard questionable. There's a lot. And then for Miami, Teron Armstead, their tackle, questionable with a knee. He did not practice, so keep that in the bag. Kendall Fuller, their number 2 corner, out with a concussion. Alec Ingold, the fullback, questionable with the calf injury. Patrick McMorris, one of their safeties, questionable with a calf. And Isaiah Wynn, their guard, questionable with a quad and any injury. So I think that just that little bit of a hip problem people were seeing with Gonzalez is the reason probably why they're pushing Tyreek Hill a little more. But I like what Phil said. I mean, I like the running backs here. I mean that.
I also like Jonnu Smith here in the last matchup. He had 8 targets versus the New England Patriots. I believe it was 5 receptions that he ended up bringing in. In the last 2 weeks, he's also had in the last 4 games, he's had 2 games that were double-digit fantasy games. He seems to really be kind of getting into a groove with Tua, kind of coming off of a career game of 101 receiving yards in the last game. And I think this matchup sets up pretty friendly as well. If you want to kind of go off of the hill, especially in a daily perspective, maybe jump onto the Jonnu Smith train. I also like Devin A-Chain, not just because he's in my fantasy league, but also just he's continued to have really good performances, not just running the ball, but catching the ball. And that really separates you in the running back category in the PPR.
Highest on running back tomorrow, and it speaks volumes just for the simple fact of the matter is I think it has to do a lot with what teams have done running the ball against the Patriots.
I think it's easy to fade though. Considering he's the highest owned, I think it's easy to fade because they're going to split this backfield with Mostert. Maybe some Jalen Wright again because he ate against them last time. So with
you go both
going to him, I probably just avoid it. I play him in cash all day long, but in like the Millie Maker, I just completely go away from it. I play nobody.
I mean, I like that too because it's for the price that he costs, $7,500. I think you could downgrade to somebody else that we'll talk about in the next game, like a Gibbs or even somebody else that's deeper down at the bottom.
He is not the highest owned on FanDuel Fresh, and Hurts and Goddard low 6% ownage, so you're good on that.
So. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's other running backs that you could get lower ownership that I think have a better matchup because they are simply just the owner of the backfield. But I mean, Achane is that guy. Like people are saying, oh well, why are you talking about fading him? I agree with Phil. Like especially, it's good to get him in his cash because he's probably going to eat in cash for real. But like if you're trying to get something that's different, I think that's probably it. A good thought. I was about to say, what about Ramondre Stevenson? Like, what did he do in the last matchup? Because
not a bad play.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably didn't do much in the last matchup, considering how much Miami was running on them. They probably couldn't run the ball.
He had 19 fantasy points. That's what I thought. He went 12 attempts for 89 yards and a touchdown.
If they keep it close, he could probably do the same thing. Shockingly, he's like top 8 owned on FanDuel.
4 receptions for 4 targets. That's another 4 points.
AJ Brown is high owned on FanDuel, second highest owned. But on the double stack with him, you'd be straight. Zach, we will answer all questions at the end. Give us a little bit more information, like is it PPR? Who's on your bench? Who's the rest of your team? Uncloth salamander sandwich. What the fuck?
Yeah, that is a PM. I don't know what that means. Private message. Everybody can't see it.
I can see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It says it's private message though. Maybe it's just for us. I don't know if anybody else can see that, but
Mike Ochurts. I don't even know who that is, dude.
No, that's
Oh, I see it now.
See what
Yeah.
it is? It's one of
Yeah.
those.
I'm glad I read it the way I read it, dude,
Yeah,
because I did not give it meaning.
I read it that way first, but then that was like, I'm like,
Ah,
dog, that's not even like that's bait.
oh.
That's bait. That's bait.
Mhm.
But no, like I said, I think Ramondre Stevenson, I didn't even think about that until just now, but Ramondre Stevenson and Hunter Henry on the other side of the ball.
She had peppered tomorrow. Yeah,
Was it
that's
Bourne who made the Millie
Millie
Maker
Maker,
last week?
yeah.
Wasn't it Bourne? He seems to be kind of establishing some sort of rapport with Drake May down the stretch. I would say kind of just watch out for him because I think that Miami might pull away in this game, forcing them to throw the ball more, so the heavier targets could potentially create a
Damn,
strong.
Booty back up here at over 10% ownership again. So that like
everybody jumping the booty again, man.
it's 35. It's because he's 3,500, and I guess just the target, the type he's on, the time he's on the field. I mean, your Kendrick Bourne call is the same price roughly, and he's less than 2% owned. So,
But does he do it again?
I don't know, but
I doubt.
at the same time, if you're trying to flip it over on its head, what's the difference? Like, like 100 here, 100 there. So it's like bang for your buck. But I honestly think Miami wins this ball game. I think 27.
I think they win it because of the run game, to be honest.
Yeah, I got Miami in this one as well.
Yeah, I think so too.
Fresh for you, you're going to need the Rams to score. That'll be the best thing happening for you. Rams is scoring, and Hurts will follow that right up, dude.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
You don't want one of those shitty performances from the Rams, dude.
Well, the Rams are good. The Rams do well at prime time. Like, Rams are prime time Rams. They're not there. They do shitty during like the main slate window. They're a prime time team, and I think that's the reason why they put them on TV and let them.
Is Puka in that game? Is he in? If he
Uh,
is, I would do 2 stacks, Fresh. I would do one with Cup as the bring back and one with Puka as the bring
yeah.
back.
So
now you can never tell who the fuck they're going with the ball.
Yeah, so on the other side of the ball, I'll give you just because we know we don't usually talk about it, but we'll just for Fresh's benefit here because you're talking about it. No Devontae Smith for the Eagles, and for nobody is of value on the Rams. So yes, Cup and Puka are full go.
Yeah, I agree. Every time I play Cup, though, they go to fucking Puka. So that shit's mad annoying. So if I were you, I would just put one extra lineup in there, make it everything the same. Just swap Cup and Puka out, dude. You have 2 safety net.
Yeah. But let's hop on to this next game. This game I think I like this game the best. Obviously, the point total
29 point total, dude.
Fucking Detroit, dude. Like, Detroit is, and I hope that fucking oh boy puts his boot to his neck. Hey Jason, I like that question, and we can answer it. We can answer that one at the end. Promise.
Stay with us.
So, what I was saying earlier, to get off that Devin Achane chalk, you got Jahmyr Gibbs, man, or even my go-to one more time, and I'm gonna say it one more time, is do not count that man Monty out. You had him last week in the Millie Maker. He was one of those guys that's putting points up there for you. So
yeah, Indy allows 28th most yards allowed per game to the running backs and the 10th most fantasy points. So that's definitely a team to pick the running backs against. Are they high owned? Let's see. Nope.
That's what I'm saying. You get off that chalk.
Oh, 8% to Gibbs, dude.
Even last week, we were saying that, we don't know which running back to play. Which running back to play between Gibbs and Monty. Well, Gibbs still had 19.3 fantasy points. He had 11 attempts for 69 yards and a touchdown. And they didn't have to throw the ball. But I think here, honestly, think that the Colts put up probably a better fight than what the Jags did. I mean, it's just by default, I think, because the Jags are in a bad spot. But I still think that it's possible that either one of these running backs for Detroit are in the big money lineup for sure, especially with neither one of them being high owned.
Yeah, dude. Monty's 5% owned.
Yep.
Gibbs is 8% owned. I mean, that's the reason for the little ownership, because people don't know who to pick. But it doesn't matter who you pick; you're still going to get fantasy value out of both of them.
Yeah. I'm about to see what's Jonathan Taylor. What did actually change?
Who's Love playing? Love.
Kyle, I'm gonna go two. Actually, flip it on the other side. I just like that matchup against the Patriots tomorrow. I think he has the opportunity to throw a couple, possibly to Hill. Also Jonnu Smith. In that matchup tomorrow against the Patriots.
Well, I like Love. The only reason I like Love is because there's no Nick Bosa. No Nick Bosa, but on the other side of the coin, there's no Brock Purdy either. So is Allen from the quarterback that was quarterback at Arkansas? Is he gonna lead the 49ers?
I think he will. I think it's gonna be a good game, to be honest. I don't think that Green Bay lets off the gas pedal neither if they're winning. If you're playing the 49ers, man, you want to beat the shit out of them if you can.
Yeah.
Like, we're up a lot. Let's take our foot off the pedal. Nah, you want them to remember.
But for back to this game that's on the thing, it's the same difference with this game. Like, I think Detroit needs to do the same exact thing. Like, they need to just keep their foot on the gas pedal. I mean, even if they get out in front, like literally like what they did with Jacksonville. I mean, they fed David Montgomery 20 attempts. Like 20 attempts at 109 yards. And I think that happens. I think something similar to that happens here. So, and it was a golf stack that won the Millie. So,
yeah, they didn't let off the fucking gas, dude.
And golf sitting down here at 3% own with the Colts giving up what they give up in the air. I mean,
well, Detroit has allowed the 5th most fantasy points per game to slots. So Josh Downs should eat in this game.
That's if Anthony Richardson can get him the ball.
Yeah, nice little bring back. But that's what he did last week.
Yeah, I think Downs has had in the last 3 games he's had 11 receptions, 10 receptions, targets. He's getting the targets. In the last game, he had a touchdown and 84 yards. Last 4 games, he's had double-digit fantasy points. It seems like they're trying to work him into the offense, and he's kind of being that sort of reliable check down. So I agree with Phil on that one. Josh Downs might be a sneaky play also from a fantasy perspective. Season long, I think you roll him out as well. I mean, if the game gets away, they're gonna have to throw the ball.
He is essentially wide receiver 1 there in Indianapolis. I mean, Pittman's days are gone. I think Pittman, I don't know what he did. I don't know who he pissed off.
Is it just the quarterback?
I don't know, man. I just don't know if Pittman's like his play style works like there at all. Like, I just don't know if that's who.
Josh Downs is only 6% owned too, so that's a smash button for me right there.
Yeah, I mean, just what you said, 5 last week against the Jets, which is a okay defense, right? 5 for 5 for 84 and a touchdown.
You're welcome, Fresh. You definitely deserved it, man. You're in here all the time.
Appreciate
and
the
Good company too.
It's annoying when you're not here because
That I've been
it gets
asking
rough.
for you. I'm like, where's Fresh?
When Fresh ain't here, shit hits the fan.
And then we get trolls come in here and they really don't understand the channel. We're like, we need Fresh.
I'm gonna make Fresh a mod. If Fresh keeps coming back, I'm gonna just make him a mod. There you go. Fresh is the mod. I need everybody's getting stinger splashes, scorpion death drops. So,
Let's see.
I don't know, man. I just like this game. I do.
Laporta's a good play. Indy allows the 6th most fantasy points per game to the tight end.
Michael Pittman is higher owned than Josh Downs.
Yeah,
because Downs costs more. I guess he's $900 more, but
Laporta's only 5% owned as well.
That's interesting, that one there, because if they're going to run the ball, they're going to go with the play action right off of it. And I always like that because that those tight ends are going to be running open once the linebackers start to move up a little bit. So that could be actually potential little pickup.
What did he have last week? Laporta had 15.6 points last week. 3 receptions on 6 targets for 66 yards on a touchdown. There you go.
I will say, if both teams do attempt to try to run the ball, kind of almost the way we're thinking it's going to run, though, I wonder if they're able to get to this 50.5 total. I think it might go actually a little bit under that, just for the fact, because again, I do believe both teams do have the intention of trying to establish the run game, whether it's scrambling or your traditional run game. So that from an over-under perspective in this matchup, I would say this is actually going under that 50.5 points.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think it's high because of what they just did. They poured like 50 by themselves. So
yep. A lot of times that you kind of see that kind of revert back to the norm the following week. And the Indianapolis team is a lot better. Should put up a lot more of a fight than what you saw from the Jaguars the previous week. You would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm taking Detroit here. I mean, I honestly think this goes under, but for the simple fact of the matter is I don't think Indy scores. I think that they do. I'm saying they don't score. They don't score like this. I think it's a lot of Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor and Josh Downs getting down there. Either Anthony Richardson throws an interception, fumbles, gets hurt, does something stupid because this defense is good. Like this secondary is good.
Yeah.
And as you guys know, he doesn't have the greatest passing of I'm saying vision and stuff when it comes to actual between the ears passing style.
Working through the progressions.
I think that's part of the problem. And what happens here is that gets in the way and Detroit gets the ball and scores, but I don't think Indianapolis scores. I think that they do enough just to get you fantasy points, fantasy value, but I don't know if they actually score that much.
Agreed.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because this isn't a division game. This isn't like where the Colts go in and can like whoop ass on somebody that's terrible. So it's not going to play like that. And at the end of the day, this Detroit team, this Detroit defense has been eating. And Anthony Richardson does some really dumb shit. And he's high owned. He's almost chalk at the quarterback position here. So, like, I don't know, like what we said before, like some guys are over. They just don't do it when they need to. So, I don't know. I think that this maybe goes under, and it's Indy's fault, not Detroit's fault. I think Detroit keeps trugging along with their grit.
I agree.
So
got Detroit.
This next game is not one that we would tend to talk about normally because of the point total is under our kind of threshold that we kind of set at about 46 points. But as some people will note that the Washington team here has the second highest team total.
Division rival.
Division game. This could be slow. It could be fast.
It's gonna be fast. It's gonna be over too. This is a Dallas used to
and it's
be
moved
the favorites by 10 points and
After-
stomp all over them, and now it's their turn to be favored by 10. And yes, this game's gonna be good, dude.
This and like I said, it's moved. Like since I made these slides earlier, the game's moved. It's now 44.5.
Yeah, man, I like the over in this one.
And
Jaden Daniels is the highest owned quarterback on the slate.
What's the injury report on this?
So back one real quick one on Detroit. I forgot to give that one. Detroit, Terrion Arnold, cornerback, questionable with a groin injury, and then Emmanuel Mosley, questionable with a pec. That's a corner, and then Enos Rakestraw, their other rookie corner, questionable out with a hamstring, and then nothing of note for the Colts. But for this game, sorry I missed that, fellas. For this game, where did it go? I had it.
I just want to see who's out.
Of course, it's the top one. For the Cowboys, Marquise Bell, their safety, out with a shoulder injury. Brandon Cooks is questionable and was limited in practice, so his practice window was open. So I haven't looked to see today if he actually is available, which could make things better or worse.
I mean, Dak isn't playing, so I don't care if
he's not active. He will not be activated, so he's
out.
He's a deep threat, and no backup quarterback is throwing it down the field like that. So I wouldn't play Cooks even if he was.
Trayvon Diggs, limited in practice with a groin and a knee. He's questionable. Jake Ferguson out with a concussion. So there, I know we saw something about Schoonmaker earlier.
Question is Lattimore playing?
No.
Lattimore's not in yet?
I do
He's
know
still
that.
out?
Damn, dude, we gave Redskins him fucked up.
So for the Cowboys, they will
I definitely
no Zach Martin. No Zach Martin, their guard, all-pro guard. No Tyler Smith, their other guard, is questionable. And then Nick Vigil, one of the linebackers, questionable with a foot, but did not practice. So
that sounds like we need some Skins defense.
So sounds like it for sure. How much do they cost?
So for Washington,
only 4% on 3,500. That's expensive.
Well, I guess they think both teams are going to score, huh?
It's Dan Quinn, bro. Dan Quinn knows this offense.
Forgot about that.
So Mike McCarthy knows his defensive scheme, and Dan Quinn knows Mike McCarthy's offensive scheme, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's almost match made in heaven. You might have to play this defense just for the simple fact of the matter is I think Dan Quinn's a better defensive coordinator than Mike McCarthy at this point in his career as an offensive guy.
And from the offensive line is out, and so when that offensive line is out, basically nothing's going to.
Deron Payne's finna eat.
Yeah, I mean, you could try to scheme it up anyway.
If Lattimore was in, I would insta-lock Commanders defense, but they got that fucking Juice Man out there, dude. He is fucking trash. Fucking trash.
Yeah, so no Lattimore. He's still not available. I saw that earlier in the week, but I knew that for a fact before I even looked at the injury report.
Dude, the Redskins will play defense when Lattimore's in there. I'll give them that. But until then, that dude Juice that's out there, he either gets burnt by everybody or he commits PI. And yeah, the Cowboys are fucking horrible. So
I mean, Jaden Daniels, like you said, the highest owned quarterback on the slate.
Yeah, highest owned for sure.
But it's because he's going to run all over him. Did you not see what Joe Mixon did to the Cowboys defense?
Yeah, I was going to say, you could probably run him naked. Even though you don't need to, you could probably run him with Terry McLaurin or Ertz.
The fact that B-Rob is only 5,600 and he's not the highest owned running back on this slate tells me people are insane.
Or they must feel that the rushing yards are going to go to Daniels tomorrow. Then he's just going to kind of scramble around and make it kind of steal those But I think that a lot of times when they do get down into the red zone, they do go to the running back. So I could kind of see at least a 1 yard touchdown out of Robinson tomorrow. What do you say, 5,600? I mean, that seems like a stronger play, maybe.
He's the same price as Eckler, so him and
If
Eckler
the
are both
game
the
gets
same price.
If the game gets it, kind of goes the way I think it's gonna go, where the Redskins kind of get up early, they're gonna have to run the ball. That just opens up opportunities for them.
Dude, fucking Noah Brown is higher owned than Scary Terry. I was over here like, I can't find Noah Brown, dude. He's fucking higher owned than Scary Terry. It's crazy. 8%. He's still not high owned, but Scary Terry at 6% with Jaden Daniels being the highest owned quarterback is kind of wild.
Is it because they think Diggs is gonna end up playing against?
I think Diggs is trash anyway.
McLaurin?
Yeah, he's okay. Diggs is not that good. I feel like Diggs' prime is already gone. Like,
I wonder if that's why they're going though to Noah, is because they think that McLaurin is going to get kind of taken away a little bit by Diggs, and so then going to the number 2 route would be a safer play than trying to go to.
What Fresh said here is his Noah Brown revenge game.
I don't play the revenge narratives though. Like,
they do try to get him the ball though, at least a couple times.
I mean, Scary Terry has 37 catches for 479 yards and only 3 touchdowns in 9 games. That's the reason why. The last time they played, he went 6 for 8 for 56. He's never had a game over 100 yards receiving against the Cowboys.
He ain't never had Jaden Daniels.
Exactly. But his first 2 seasons, he had a touchdown.
Was that Kirk?
2019, 2020. 2019, 2020. Was that Cousins? No. Was that Alex Smith?
Let me look at that.
I think that was
snap percent.
Wasn't that Cousins?
Washington. Young Washington. Noah Brown. Yeah, he was on the field for 77% of the snaps last week, but only 52% on the season. He had
Case Keenum. Case Keenum and Alex Smith. His first 2 quarterbacks, Case Keenum and Alex Smith. No wonder Terry McLaurin said Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback he's ever played with.
Yeah, he wasn't there for RG3.
Or Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was already in Minnesota.
Yeah. Dude, I forgot all about Kirk being there.
Yeah, he was drafted in the same draft as RG3.
I feel like when he left, he did better, though.
He was killing it in Washington.
I mean, I think the reason everybody's going Noah is because he got more targets than everybody last week by double, besides Ertz. But like on the wide receiver,
Fresh, you want Noah on DraftKings? He's 4,200. If you want him on, and he's 8% owned.
Yeah, 4,200 for sure. I'm gonna put him on my list.
I mean, I know. Look at CD Lamb down here, 11%. I get it. I thought last week that he was not going to do tiddlywinks. He's Cooper Rush still forces him the ball.
I think you can run Zach Ertz too.
And no Ferguson.
They're gonna have to throw it to someone.
Yeah. Rico Dowdle, I guess.
B-Rob.
I just don't.
At least for the running back argument for Dallas, you could potentially see them, those dumbed down passes from your Cooper Rush, or maybe here, if you want to get a little different, it could potentially be that. Maybe breaks away on one.
I don't know, man. It's like on Monday night, I expected more and got less from Dallas. I hate Dallas.
Yeah.
But I expected more and got less. I gave them 17 points and they only get 10. So,
interesting fact is Ertz has seen at least 7 targets in 3 of his past 4 games, And Dallas has allowed a top 12 fantasy tight end in 3 of the past 5 games. So good plays the Ertz here.
I'm always a Ertz guy. I always like
I personally agree that I think, Dallas can score here, but I'm not going to play any Dallas players.
Okay, here's a fun, tasty thought. Now, this is kind of the freshest point here. Cooper Rush has a passer rating of 116.7 and 323 yards and 3 touchdowns in 4 games against the Commanders.
So he knows how to play against us. Might be able to go CD. He was trying to get CD the ball last week.
I just worry about the Zach Martin, Tyler Smith injuries, though.
Yeah.
Those are crucial. Those are huge.
It's not gonna have much time.
Makes it hard to do. Yeah, it makes it hard to do much.
But Juice fucking sucks, dude. CD is gonna tear that dude up out there. All he's got to do is snap and throw, and he's gonna catch Juice pass interference so many times.
Cooper Rush had a game with 223 yards against Commanders. 2 touchdowns.
Interesting. What's the
That was in
ownership
2022? That's 2022. So this was different off defensive scheme. But the thing about it is, he's
dude, silly for the millie, bro. He's only 1% owned. He's literally the last player on the list besides Bryce Young.
Stack him with CD and see what happens.
That's he's only 5,000 too, and how much you could save to build around him. Literally, we saw it. What? Who was the quarterback in the middle the other day that was just so cheap that you could build around? And we're like, there's no way.
Last week.
I think it was Goff.
Goff was 6,300. Purdy. I could have said
Purdy.
One.
Who you sneaking with, Fresh?
Bo Nix. Bo Nix is what I was thinking about. Bo Nix was 5,600. And they paid up for James Cook, B. Rob, Jamar Chase, and Chuba Hubbard all over $6,500. That's what I'm saying. And they paid up for a defense.
He's gonna make us wait.
Yeah, so that's why I knew there was somebody I was thinking a couple of weeks ago that ended up that way. So, that's like you said, it's silly family type shit.
Dude, I like it though because there is a potential here that Redskins go up by a lot, and if they do, he's just gonna be slinging the fucking ball.
He's gonna have to.
He's the lowest owned quarterback on the slate.
Well, I had him in a prop the other night for less than 30 attempts, and the dude had 40 something damn attempts. I swear he did.
He threw 55 passes in last week's loss.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I had him under 30, thinking that he was never gonna just not see the ball, and he was
run a lot. Dude, if he throws 55 times in this game, he's absolutely gonna be in the millie maker.
That's crazy. It's insane.
That goes to show you that Dallas trust him and they're willing to let him air that fucking ball out.
He's okay. He's okay. It's just the fact of the matter is, if they get frustrated here with him and he gets his ass wiped out a couple good times, or they're down pretty bad, do they give up and go to try to get crazy with Trey Lance? Because they did that shit 2 weeks ago. They didn't do that against Houston, but they did it the week before. Cooper kind of was banged up some, and then they went to Trey Lance. So that's the problem. That's the only issue I see with even trying this, is that there's always that issue that if Trey Lance, they're like, what else do we have to lose at this point? So, yeah.
Well, it's worth it for the millie maker, though.
What the millie maker cost in FanDuel, what, Fresh? It's like $9 every week. It's not even close to half the price for what it is cost for
DraftKings is 20 and 25.
Sometimes it's
30 one week.
It was 15 or 10 like on my birthday, so I got it in there 3 times, but it's been 15
I need it
15.
to be cheaper. I mean, I like a Cooper Rush with a CD Lamb and bring back a B Rob
I need a
for
$10
all of the
scratch off.
millies.
A $10 scratch off.
All the millies.
Yeah.
I like Washington in this matchup tomorrow.
Absolutely. But I don't think it's 9.5 points or 10.5 points, whatever.
The fucked up thing about this is the line is set to where you can't bet it because there is so much potential that the Redskins do win by more than 10. And then there's also so much potential that this could be a shootout. It's just one of those games you just got to fucking leave it. To be honest, I probably put this in a teaser, like a 3-team teaser, get 10 points and take over 35.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, somebody else that we didn't talk about in this game, I don't want to say real quick. He's on the screen, Turpin. Like, low dude, just after what I saw the other night, Cooper Rush looks for him out of the slot. If he gets matched up with a linebacker or a low, like a safety, dude is just too damn fast.
Yeah, I hand build for my single entries. I do the $100 or sometimes it's $150 single entry on DraftKings. I hand build that every week. But like 20 maxes, I'll optimize. But like I look at the lineup sometimes that the optimizer makes, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, and
it happens.
And I'll look, and that thing does terrible, and I'm like, man.
Optimizer does get a little squirrely. The AI is getting weird.
Yeah, dude, it's a little wild. At this point, I'm thinking about just handcrafting all 20.
I ended up having to do it the other day. So yeah, it was crazy because it wouldn't upload into DraftKings. I was like, well, looks like I got 20 minutes to just shove in 60 lineups.
Yep, I've had that issue. I've also I was locking in double ups for cash, and one was $5, and I thought it was single entry, and I just clicked max every time if it's single entry, and I maxed 150 double ups, and I'm like, dude, I hate doing mass entry double ups, so I had to go in and literally remove 149 entries into this fucking contest one by one. It must have taken me an hour. I was like, I'm never clicking that max button again.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy.
Wow.
Hitting that 40x multiplier shit lately. Top 5 pays $50, and there's like 275 contestants in there, and you put in 5 and you can win. I mean, some of them are 10, some of them are 40, but shit, like I've been clapped. That's where I've been making my money lately, is just you play like a somewhat optimal type lineup in there, and it doesn't have to be fully cash, but optimal play with maybe just an offset get different type guy in there, and it's been paying off lately. So yeah, we can go to the last game on the slate. Washington all the way though. This game, man,
It's got good potential.
47 and a half.
Great potential.
It's in the afternoon. I mean,
I like both quarterbacks already. I can tell you that.
Yep.
Gino back at the top as the second highest owned quarterback.
Let me see some ownership.
I'm
yep, second highest now.
I like
Kyler's only 6% though.
I like our guy here. The guy that was on tonight's thing here. Jackson Smith and Jigba. I like Jackson Smith and Jigba here.
One is loving KW3 tomorrow.
That's possible too, Juan.
Yeah. I like that play as well. But Jackson Smith and Jigba, I called him a few weeks back, missed, but definitely these last couple of weeks, he's definitely been on target. I believe he's had 11 targets in the last game, 13 targets in the one before that. He's finally starting to kind of have that chemistry I thought he should have coming out of the slot position, working with Geno Smith. This matchup seems to be a friendly matchup as well. Those afternoon games or the afternoon divisional games just play a little different, but I think this one's going to play up and play to the points and over the 47.5, or sometimes they get a little kind of 3-6. But this matchup feels more of a point friendly.
So
Yes.
like for Cardinals, I'll give you a little injury report. Not much to speak of other than Jalen Thompson. Their safety is out with an ankle injury. And then for the Seahawks, Noah Fant, questionable with that groin injury, was full go, but as we all know, that groin does linger. So Brady Russell, backup tight end, out with a foot, and then Laviska Shenault. Shout out to our man Marcus, who told us back in the day that Laviska Shenault coming in for the Panthers was going to be like the best thing since sliced bread.
It's the only
I'm like,
argument I think I've ever won against him.
And I think he's played on he came in with the Jags, and then he went to the Panthers, and then he's like, he's supposed to be the best.
Dude's fucking useless.
He's supposed to be the next Deebo Samuel. That's who we drafted him to be, was Deebo.
My God.
And
he's been nothing.
We got the poor man's version.
So. Yeah,
thanks for tuning in, Pete.
All right, Pete. Appreciate it, brother. Shout out to Mock 10 Breaks. A yard breaking the night. Let me know. He's one of the guys that sent us the cards. So
yeah, the touch base on that KW3, Cardinals give up 4.5 yards per carry and have allowed the 8th most fantasy points per game to the running back. And he's coming in at 14% ownership. Just like 7th on the top owned running backs. That's good.
I want to say somebody that eats. Oh. So Kenneth Walker has 90 carries for 389 yards and 3 touchdowns in 4 games against the Cards.
Damn, so almost a TD and all of them. 75% to get a touchdown.
He hasn't had a touchdown in 2 games. He had 1 in the first game and 2 in the second. So he has not had a touchdown. He has not had a touchdown against the Cardinals since 2022. But in 2023, he was hurt. I believe. No, actually, that was
he was hurt for a good period of one of these years. Time flies. I don't know if it was last year or the year before.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was just that they played. But he has had 97 yards, 109 yards, 105, and in the last game they played, he had 78 yards. But it's one of those things. If they get out in front, they get out in front. If they don't, they don't. So.
I mean, they got this even match. So that's the only scary thing about playing running backs. The even match games, they don't tend to like feast. It's just average. It's just normal gameplay.
Yeah. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 7 catches for 77 yards and 1 touchdown last season against the Cards. So his first game was 4 receptions on 7 targets for 63 and a TD. But that ain't this season. And I don't know. I like him.
Seattle has allowed 40 rush yards and 1 touchdown to Brock Purdy on the ground a week ago. So that bodes well for Mr. Kyler.
Young Kyler Murray. Mr. Call of Duty.
Yeah. Mr. Kyler's in for a good matchup here. I kind of like him for tomorrow.
What about our man?
Do we see MHJ do something again or what?
I need him to do something with his life.
He'll probably be low on considering he ain't done shit.
Our man, James Conner, 81
man.
carries. James Conner, 81 carries, 342 yards, and 5 touchdowns in 5 games in his career against the Seahawks.
Telling you, he's a sleeper. I said that a week or two ago. Watch out for him down the stretch, man. This is the time of the year. It starts to get cold out. End of the year, guys don't want to tackle anymore. Watch out for these running backs down the stretch.
Yeah, it hurts, man. Hurts to tackle somebody when it's cold.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it's gonna be the temperature at kickoff is, let's see. Ooh, around what is this, afternoon? Around 45 degrees and raining.
In this game?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't
In,
like quarterback.
in Seattle.
It's always fucking raining in Seattle.
So,
That
2
makes me
o'clock.
feel
So
more running back than I do receiver now.
45 degrees and rain.
I think I'm gonna cross MHJ off the list. He ain't been playing
Watch
well.
that
and it's been
weather. I would
raining.
say watch the weather. If it is raining.
Trey McBride.
Oh no, though. I'm just at the same time. We said this same thing about that game the other day, about that Thursday night game, and Jerry Jeudy went out there and just sliced and diced. I know it was snow. Snow's a little easier than rain.
Dude, if that game would have started the way it ended, I would have hit 3 parlays for over 3K. I hit everything in my parlays except for one. I had the same thing in all 3 of them, and that was under on Russ Wilson. And this motherfucker throwing for like 80 yards in the first quarter. There's not a single percent of precipitation in the fucking air. And then by halftime, they're in a blizzard. I'm like, where was this at the start of this fucking game?
Somebody shook the snow globe up, man.
Bro,
Turned it up-
I
turned it
needed that to
upside
be
down.
there in the beginning, and I would have fucking feasted. Sheesh.
What about Trey McBride?
Yeah, I like him. I was just talking about him. Seattle's allowed over 13 fantasy points to tight ends in the past, or 2 of the past 4 weeks. And Trey McBride is Trey McBride, but he's going to be expensive and probably high. Let's see. Yep, 4th highest owned and 5,600. You know, he's 200 off of the price of Travis Kelce. In a rainy game, I'd probably just rather have Kelce against Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm probably just not going to get to Trey McBride.
I don't think. I mean, he probably don't either. I think there's probably better options.
I think everybody's seen. I mean, Travis Kelce's 20% owned. He's the highest owned by far, but the price comparison, dude, that's.
If you're paying up, I mean, I think if you're paying up for a tight end tomorrow, you got to. I'm gonna say it again. Even though he's gonna not have Brock Purdy, you paying up for George Kittle, and because there's ownership's not there, and he's a tight end is what inexperienced quarterback's best friend, right? Obviously, I think it's gonna be Christian McCaffrey, but I think if you're paying that high for a tight end, you might as well just pay for the best one.
Yeah, now seeing this weather, I think this game goes under too. I hate that weather. But yeah, if you're paying up for tight end, dude, Brock Bowers, Sam Laporta, and their leverage.
Yeah.
Maybe even Cade Otton.
With the return of Mike Evans, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
I think Arizona wins this game though. What's up, KC?
Against the 12th man in the rain, I'm gonna go Seattle on this one.
I'm gonna go Seattle as well.
That's good, KC. What was
that? I don't know. It's a sticker. I don't know. Casey, I can't see what it is. What is it?
It looks like a dude holding his son.
A baby or something. Is it? I can't tell. It's so small on the screen. But I think Fresh is probably right. I think I'm right too. Juan says they stopped throwing to Kenny Walker when DK came back. This could be DK game though, but we have seen weird shit happen. Oh, it's Saquon Barkley. It could be one of those weird games. We've seen this weird game. What's this? The Buda Baker or the DK Metcalf running down Buda Baker with the tackle game. So
brings it back.
Pete says the Cards are playing great defense. I mean, they have been playing good defense right now.
Brings back a memory of Cody doing that in our flag football championship.
What?
Chasing dude down and tackling him in a flag football game.
Yeah.
Cody was about to fight this dude.
Tried to powerbomb that dude like wrestling moves out on the flag football field. Yeah. Yeah. So no, I don't know, man. I like your Kyler Murray thoughts here though. If it's gonna be sloppy, even though run the ball, but I like James Conner and Kenny Walker now more pound the rock. So
yep.
But I'm gonna take Arizona. I think their defense is playing better than what the Seattle team is playing right now. So
bet.
But we'll answer some questions. If you guys have specific questions about games that we didn't cover, we will.
Yeah, what other game you want to talk about, Fresh? What game?
Let's talk about two other afternoon games that they huge impact.
Maybe Green Bay and San Francisco.
Oh, he's talking about the San Francisco and Green Bay game, and then he's chasing the Bo Nix points too, probably. I've had some questions
somebody
about.
told me this recently that the Raiders always beat the Broncos, some shit like that. Like they have never lost to them or haven't lost to them in a long time. And I was like, wow. So didn't know that. Makes me want to bet on the Raiders tomorrow. Even though they're shit.
Well, Raiders. Okay, so I can give you a little bit of information there because the Raiders could be without both of their running backs. So
or maybe it was when they're at home. Like Denver's never beat them at home.
Alexander Madison is doubtful, and Zamir White is doubtful as well. Let's take this one off. So we just talking out our ass right now.
Yeah, dude. I'm looking at it. They have not beat the Raiders at home. In fact, they get smacked every time the Raiders are at home. I've never seen this kind of score from the Raiders in my life. What the fuck? Oh, here's one that they lost. All the way back in 2014, man.
The last time.
Since 2014, they have not lost at home against the Broncos. That's creepy.
Since 2020, the Raiders have won every matchup but one.
Yeah, they just lost 2024 in October.
Yeah.
But they weren't at home.
No, I'm just saying every matchup in general.
Yeah, they have their number, dude, and their ass. So if that's any reason to play somebody like Brock Bowers, dude, the only way they win that game is if he's eating.
Yep.
I think this is a lock-in button for Mr. Bowers, dude. I think you put him in, and that's how Raiders win this game.
You can't play Jacoby here probably because he's going to be going against Pat Surtain. So you get Brock Bowers, and then man, I'm at the shit end of the barrel in this 14-man league. I'm running the backup fucking running back for the Raiders, Dylan Laube, Laube.
Wait, is he starting?
He's a backup. He's Amir Abdullah.
Yeah, but is he starting?
Amir Abdullah is the starter, but Dylan Laube is the backup. And KP picked up Amir Abdullah because I'm playing him, picked him up, blocked me. So I had to pick up the backup guy who is projected to do just as much as Amir Abdullah because nobody really knows shit. So
that's actually funny.
So, I mean,
that's working the system.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this Dylan Laube kid is somebody I don't even really know much about. Yeah, I know he fumbled his first snap of the season and hasn't been back on the field since then. Like,
No, I don't think that's a bad move. Like Cody just said, it's probably a fucking like split backfield. I don't know if they get a lot done on the ground, but history says that they own the Broncos. So that's creepy, dude. If I didn't know that history, I would say that like Raiders get killed in this game. But since I know that history now, I'm like, how do they get this done? Maybe it is the fucking run. I have no idea. But if I go anywhere in this game, it's Brock Bowers. I feel like that's the only way they win this game. Is if he's eaten.
yeah, but Jacoby Myers is the highest owned wide receiver tomorrow. I guess it's because of what Denver's kind of been failing to do with the defense over the last couple weeks. But
I'm good on that, but Brock Bowers for sure.
No, I'm saying like
I just don't understand how he's the highest owned. Maybe it's because he's cheap. And you're right, he is the highest owned. He's cheap. I feel like people don't think sometimes either when they pick players. Like Pat Surtain is locked down, dude. So,
I mean, Fresh, to your point, Amir Abdullah has 14 carries for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns in 7 games against the Broncos in his career. I forgot this dude has been around forever. Dude been around. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I remember 2015, it's his first game against Denver.
Yeah, I got no idea on this one, Fresh.
He scored a touchdown in his first game as a receiver, and then his last game as a running back.
I think if they win, they have to have some type of run game. But like, are they going to be using this lob dude for a split backfield? That's the difficult problem.
I don't know, man.
It sounds like Abdullah's had some success against Denver, so I guess if I had to go one or the other, I would probably go Abdullah. I know just kind of seeing him more, you kind of know who he is a little bit more, whereas Lube, I have not seen him play, so I don't want to sit kind of attach anything to him. I guess I would go with Abdullah or both.
And Cortland Sutton is the second highest owned wide receiver on the slate.
That's just because he's been eating the last 2 weeks, and then he's going against the Raiders. So
who has no pass defense.
But again, this history of them at home tells me for some reason they're gonna lock him down. Bo Nix is gonna do terrible, and we're gonna be like, damn, you heard it here first on Ballers and Breeze.
Yeah, could be it, man. I don't know.
It definitely looks like people are stacking this game.
Yeah, for sure. But I think they're stacking. They're running bringbacks. They've got to be stacking Bo Nix and there's no ownership to Gardner Minshew.
Even the Broncos defense is the third highest owned. So like, that's just one of those things where like you're watching Red Zone and they're like, the Raiders have never lost to the Broncos at home, and you got your fucking house bet on the Broncos, and you're like, why didn't I fucking know this shit before the game started? But now you do, so you don't end up playing Broncos defense tomorrow.
Who specifically, Fresh?
I think it's the running
Cortland Sutton is 5,800, and Jacoby Myers is 5,100. If that's who you're talking about.
What is Abdullah and Lube, I think?
Mir was way down here. He's 4,300 and Lob
4,000.
4,000 with only 0.2% ownership on Lob, 5% on Amir.
And then the Brock Bowers is 6,300, the most expensive tight end.
Most expensive tight end, but I feel like I got to run him now.
What was that other question that we got at the beginning of the show?
let me look real quick.
Let me see. Okay, let's see. What?
I mean, the over/under on this game is really low, Fresh. And just because Raiders might win doesn't mean it might be high scoring. It could be low, like a 17-14 type fucking ordeal, and it's not really that great.
So Zach says, "This is while you're talking to Fresh, I'm gonna answer this question for Zach." So Zach says, "Do I drop Kareem Hunt for the playoffs weeks 14 through 18? I have Derrick Henry, Kenny Walker, B. Rob." It really depends. Did you say? Because I know we asked you what your league was like.
I think you did the Green Bay 49ers game for us as your second exposure.
He didn't give us anything other to think about here. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't until I know Isaiah Pacheco's coming back. He was supposed to come back this week, and he's not.
I like Henry and Robinson Jr. down the stretch. And so I guess if you had to drop of the four and drop Hunt, I could see that. But I will say that Hunt does have that pass catching ability. So sometimes it also depends on. Did he say if this was a PPR league or not?
He didn't say.
First off, Kareem Hunt should have a game of his life this week against Carolina.
He's talking about two more. He's got this is for 2 weeks from now. So he's talking about from weeks 14 through 18. So he's asking this question in advance of the playoffs for week 14 through 18. Like I said, I mean, you got to see. There's no Pacheco this week. He's not back yet. They thought he would be back this week, but he's not. Obviously, they want to bring him back against Carolina when they know they're going to murder Carolina. I think you got to wait and see. In what if your team if it's a 10-man PPR, because he hasn't popped it in at the bottom, has he? Since we've been talking about it,
I didn't see it.
Because I don't see it anywhere. What it says, but I mean, with that lineup, I'm assuming this is something to do with 10-man. Just with having Derrick Henry, Kenny Walker, and B. Rob all in the same lineup.
Maybe
you grabbed Hunt off of the waiver wire. So I think it's a wait and see what Pacheco does, really, to answer that question.
What about the Denver Colts game, Fresh? I feel like I would go there. I'm looking at Jared Goff is
Detroit.
Yeah, dude, Colts. He's 3% owned. The highest team total on the slate, and he's 3% owned.
So Jason says, will you start Ertz or Schoonmaker? Already starting the Commanders D and a kicker and Eckler. Jesus Christ. I didn't want to start 4 Commanders. My only other option is Wandale to replace Eckler to avoid the 4-man. Okay. I don't want to tell you not to play fucking Eckler, but Wandale, it's Tommy Cutlets, you know. They might get Dabo might be having to get gimmicky for his job. Schoonmaker is gonna be number 1. He did okay against the Texans the other night, but he was lined up as a tight end and a fullback. They still had Ferguson. I wouldn't want you to have to run all 4, but I don't want you to have to kill your own defense if Schoonmaker actually busts one off. You know, that's one thing that scares me in a season long.
Schoonmaker had like 10 receptions last week, so
he was playing fullback too. That's what I'm saying. But they get Lepke back this week too, so that shit's gonna change a little bit. And then that other tight end for Dallas, I kept seeing his fucking ass out there. Brevin Spain Ford. I kept seeing him out there way too much.
Way too much. When I had somebody else that was weird in my parlay, dude.
It was Schoonmakers who I had.
And I was like, who the fuck is this dude out here, man? Yeah, we could talk about the Green Bay game. I just think that is going to be the biggest game from CMC we've seen. I feel like you might have to pay up for CMC tomorrow.
Will you start AR, Tua, or Williams. I'm not playing Williams against the fucking Vikings and the Blitz because that dude sucks.
Robinson.
AR? Talking about Richardson or Tua?
Oh yeah, Richardson. I want to say Robinson. Anthony Richardson. Yeah, I would start Richardson. It's the highest game total.
I like Tua versus the Patriots tomorrow.
I just dropped Richardson. I had him. I dropped his ass for a defense in the league.
I mean, with that shadow on Tyreek is the only reason I don't care for Tua this week. When Tyreek gets shadowed, he doesn't do shit. They trap him in a zone and he can't fucking do shit. I'm not playing Caleb Williams ever. And
Ever.
Anthony Richardson is in the biggest game total out there. And that's, back to what Fresh said, Purdy is out. That's why I love CMC tomorrow. I mean, I don't think they've mixed him in much. Let me see, because I could be wrong.
For the Packers 49ers, that Purdy injury really makes me nervous about that matchup. I know others may see it. I think Purdy is that sort of game manager, that ability to kind of really move the ball, get it to where it needs to go. But without that, it just makes me wonder what the offense is going to look like. It's hard to really bet on it. Going back on the other side, I have Jacobs in the other league, but I'm feeling not too confident about him versus that 49ers defense going back on the other side. But I think you could potentially see them getting more production through the air with Jordan Love. Maybe matching that with one of those receivers there. See if you can kind of pop one. But I think they're going to get additional chances on the offense for the Packers tomorrow just because of that rookie quarterback. You'll probably see a couple more 3-and-outs than you would have in a normal setting.
But Jason, I upside is AR. If you want the full-fledged upside, is AR. I think if you want the ceiling, the good floor, it's Tua. It's really what works best for your team. But if you're mixing it with the rest of that team that you had, man, I think you got to go floor, which is Tua, because he's like a 92 passer rating and I was up to 1,300 yards. He had 300 yards the last time they played the Patriots. I think you got to go floor. If you're mixing it with that team that you talked about, with all the commanders and shit, it's floor here, not upside where you're trying to get big. That if you're getting crazy and you have a Josh Downs or something that you didn't tell us about, maybe. But I've run the risk of losing my whole entire team because of stupid ass Anthony Richardson. And
so back to what you said, Fresh, is Mason only had 2 carries for 13 yards and was not targeted last week. So I don't think Jordan Mason is a factor anymore.
Y'all answered this one already. Kyle said pick one,
yep,
2 or love.
We got to that one.
Okay. Y'all answered that one.
We got to that one.
Okay. Gerard
says,
I
think he's gonna be a workhorse, dude.
Need a
you gotta pay for the roof, but like
Jennings, Rashad White.
I feel he's gonna get like 10 receptions, dude. He's just gonna be dumping it off to him.
Downs, this is a nice one actually, because Rashad White has a great matchup this week, and he's had 15 fantasy points. Like
flex Downs, dude. I'm fucking locking that dude in.
Yeah, Downs is probably where you need to go though, because of what Phil said about the slot.
He just came off of a touchdown last week, so they're going to draw him up to do something this week. Plus, just the target share, he's been getting a ton of targets. Really has that boom potential. We've seen him a few times kind of go off in a few games. But I guess if I want to find someone a little bit more consistent, it seems like Downs has a better chance of giving you a more consistent performance. Whereas really though, if you're down some points already, and you kind of need a little bit of a boom, maybe I'll go with the Ridley option.
Jennings, I just don't know with Brandon Allen being a quarterback. I don't know. That's just the thing. I don't know. And then Rachaad White, that's another guy that's steady floor. He's a steady floor play. I mean, it's he had 10 attempts on 31 yards, and he had a receiving touchdown against San Francisco in week 10. So they've been coming off a bye. Bucky Irving may be fully healthy. We don't really know who's doing what. So I think your Downs is probably 1. Ridley's your super boom guy. Jennings is your I don't really know. And Rashad's your floor guy.
You're right, Fresh. I forgot that you're on FanDuel, but I still think that if 49ers are scoring tomorrow, it's from CMC. If this guy can throw the ball and move the ball downfield, which I think he will be able to, besides I think CMC just gashes them naturally, I think he'll get you them points.
KC says he's 5-6. I hope you have been listening to what we have. You obviously haven't been listening to us or asking us the right questions, Casey. If you're still here, and I expect maybe if we have another showdown soon and it's got Philly involved, that you need to show up, and I will give you the link and you can show up because I need you to defend the Eagles. Stop being a homer.
If you can get your hands on Denver's defense, maybe a Washington defense, switch up that kicker, man. I'm telling you, small things will get you the difference in those season longs.
Yes. It's
especially when you got people on buys.
The buys are killer this week, though. Like I looked up my team. All my team is essentially like not even playing. So I was like, I saw somebody said, "Oh, I just went hardcore early and then just said fuck it for when the bye week comes around." I mean, I literally thought about going zero. I thought about going 0 running back and 0 defense this week. Seriously, I thought about it. People loving the Bears defense right now, though, against the Vikings, because Sam Darnold's been kind of playing doo-doo.
Yeah, if you're not gonna play CMC, I stand by that. But like if you're secondary stacking that game, I think it has to be CMC.
CMC's going to be the number one though. Like I feel like they're going to hand it to him like 900 times.
But on FanDuel, he's probably going to be the most expensive. It's a lot. I understand what he's saying because on DraftKings, he's probably the play. He's going to get like 10 targets, dude, from a rookie quarterback. He's just going to dump it off to him out the side.
He's not. I mean, Allen's not a rookie. He's been in the league for a while, but
if he's not a starter, he's a rookie to me. So that's the way I see him. But yeah, I can definitely see how you don't play somebody like him because he's expensive. And you're right. Last week, I think I played him and he looked like shit.
Like he's the most expensive. He's got to get what 40 damn points.
Is he the most expensive running back?
Yes, 8,500.
So there's something about being the most expensive. You have to get the most points because if you don't get the most points, that means somebody else has a better lineup than you.
But
so you got to get the most points.
And for Fresh's case, it's Saquon because Saquon's in the Sunday night game. So,
yeah, I mean he's running that game and he's running the Washington game, but I think he was looking for some fillers, like some little game stacks inside of his lineups.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have a solid lineup running them two together. That's for sure.
I mean, the Kareem Hunt. I like the Kareem Hunt against the Panthers.
Let me see. I switched to FanDuel. Let me see.
I like Tyrone Tracy against the. You want some other little FanDuel plays? Tyrone Tracy against the Bucks because
different.
DeVito's gonna have to hand it to.
Xavier Worthy against the Carolina Panthers tomorrow. I just like that speed. I think he might pull away one tomorrow. Watch out for him.
Yeah, Tyrone Tracy on FanDuel is not a bad play, given he's only 6,700 and he's got a solid matchup. Bucks are 23rd against the position.
Yeah, I like Tracy as well.
And the Panthers have an ungodly amount of injuries.
I mean, if you don't buy into the Raiders beating the Broncos, Javonte Williams is cheap too in a solid matchup.
Estimate. I mean, he was in a milli maker, and we know he didn't do shit. But I mean,
It was in the fucking millie.
He made it.
Aldrich Estime. Jalen Wright, but that's a fucking stretch. You need A-Chain to get injured again.
Yep.
Trying to see who's cheap. Ramondre, we talked about him being a solid matchup. He's only 6,400.
yeah.
That might be the trick to FanDuel this week, dude, is getting the cheap running back correct.
I mean, Kareem Hunt is the highest owned running back in the on the slate in FanDuel.
Yeah, rightfully so.
But that's one reason I hate FanDuel. It's that the damn running backs are just so fucking ungodly overvalued.
You need him though.
Yeah.
Another good play, dude, is probably Josh Jacobs. He's not cheap or anything, but if Green Bay does have a commanding lead, dude, he's been solid this year, and he'll get a lot more touches.
What's the Philly defense doing against the run? I mean, I was thinking like Kyron Williams, but he's still expensive. 83. I'm looking at these prices, and I'm like 8,300 for Kyron Williams is just insane.
Let's see. Eagles have allowed the 6th fewest fantasy points per game to opposing running backs. LA Rams have allowed the 7th most fantasy points per game to the tight end. That's that Dallas Goedert love. Jameson Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., Juwan Jennings, and Justin Jefferson all totaled 110 receiving yards against the Rams, making A.J. Brown a beast matchup, especially with Smith out.
Something that we didn't talk about. This is something because we always talk about for Green Bay and San Francisco, your man Jair Alexander for the Packers.
Ooh. That game might have more potential than I thought.
No Charvarius Ward for the 49ers. So
dude, they got Jaden Daniels at 9,000 on FanDuel. There's just no way I'm paying that for Jaden Daniels.
Trent Williams is questionable with an ankle injury and did not practice for the 49ers.
He might just go though. He usually doesn't practice though. Watch out. He usually doesn't. He might actually end up playing though. That's a veteran.
I mean, he's a big man though. Like that, I've seen him come in and do that shit, and then he leaves the game, and then Brandon Allen's backside is exposed, and he's getting destroyed by Quay Walker or whoever's coming off the edge there for
Rashawn Gary.
Yeah, Rashawn Gary, for the Packers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have a solid team. That defense is solid.
To be honest, you might want to pay down for the Dallas quarterback and just stack up your wide receivers. Get crazy on the running backs that we just mentioned that were kind of cheap. Ramondre Stevenson and Tyrone Tracy, maybe. And then just pay up a wide receiver. That's some silly for the Millie type love right there.
No, well, I mean, you're talking about quarterback. CJ Stroud against the Titans. No L'Jarius Sneed there for the Titans. No Tajay Spears.
Something wrong with y'all this year, though, man.
I know. I mean, everybody's
I ain't figured it out yet, but
everybody's
CJ Stroud's only 3% owned too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, Jared Goff is only 2% owned. I feel like that's who I gotta play at quarterback.
Or Baker Mayfield. Fucking Baker Mayfield's only 2% owned. This is in FanDuel, so that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm on FanDuel. Yeah, I'm on FanDuel. Dude, that's crazy.
I mean, Baker Mayfield's only 3% owned in DraftKings. But no, Simon, we can sit here and debate with Fresh's ass all night long. He owes us a picture of this jersey, though.
Once he gets it framed.
Yeah. And then
Right.
Mike needs to tell all his friends. But anyways, well, we're gone an hour and a half when I expected we go shorter because our man Phil's not feeling well, but he's
I
feeling.
got like 103 fever right now, and this heating pad is making it worse. But this pain is crazy. Oh damn, he had to send it out.
Oh wow.
Well, when you 3 weeks, Jesus.
That's still dope.
Yeah, it's cool.
Can't wait
man.
to see the pic.
Yeah, that's fire, damn.
Yeah, but if anybody else got any questions real quick, we'll answer them. I know, like I said, we can debate with fresh ass all night, so but we'll hang out for a couple more minutes and let y'all think about it.
I think B-Rob is a must start tomorrow.
I think that's a good thought. I mean, I think you got to. It's not getting framed, Michaels.
Imagine. They probably do it hella cheap too. Oh,
Yeah.
sure, we frame that for you, and they just fold it. You got a folded jersey inside a picture frame when you go pick it up.
Or they're like, "Who's this cheetah?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Who's this cheetah that plays? There's a cheetah that plays for the Dolphins."
They'd be like, "I like cheetahs."
I mean, they're priced the same on DraftKings. Fresh, Eckler and B-Rob.
You have more of the pass catching,
is out.
but he's not doing the same type of volume, of course, as what he was doing with the Chargers. Eckler's was. They're just not using them the same way. More of a kind of power game style.
Yeah. And just kind of a side note, I know we talked about this before, but we have merch, we have shirts, hats, koozies, stickers, whatever. You guys, if you guys are looking for the merch, just send this message over on the socials, and I think I'm gonna get together. The easiest way to do this, because we are new to the merch game, so we don't use Shopify or all those things. We actually have a actual t-shirt and company that makes the stuff for us, so I have to get them an actual order form. So I'm gonna probably put an order form together, maybe like a Google form or something like that, and then that way you guys can just log in and put in an order that way, if that's what you want. So if you were looking for shirts or whatever you're looking for, so we just want to make sure. But anyways, y'all, well, we appreciate y'all and all the love, and good luck tomorrow. And
Good luck.
We have a Wednesday show. Will be a little bit stuffed, if you will. A little bit of ham, a little bit of turkey, a little bit of dressing, maybe some cranberry sauce. Nah, that shit's gross. But
I agree.
Nah, man, you're good. You're good, Fresh. You're good,
Fresh.
You're
Talk
good.
it up.
We appreciate it. It's not troll commentary.
Dude, I love the Thanksgiving slate and the Christmas slate, dude. I love when it's like a 3-game powerhouse. It's people like us become sharks in a much smaller pond, dude. It's so much more fun.
Yeah, a Christmas, man. I'm after watching the Tyson and Paul fight, I'm a little scared about Netflix on Christmas, just to be honest.
Somebody started a class action lawsuit against them.
Just a little bit scared. The main stat.
Shit. I thought I said one earlier. Give me your FanDuel. So my FanDuel one would be Hurts, Goddard, and AJ Brown. Bring back of Cup or Puka. On the Detroit side, I'm going Goff to Amon-Ra.
With bring back?
Yeah, with Downs as the bring back. I don't think you need to pair 2 with Goff. Likely you probably would, but
I mean, he was in the middle with a pair last week in DraftKings.
And then Jaden Daniels being the highest owned or not, I think I still run him because he's only 12% owned on DraftKings. He's not like
And
crazy high owned.
6% to Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I pair him with Terry and B Rob, and I bring back with CD. And then I think for the Millie Maker, I'm gonna do the Dallas Cowboys quarterback with CD, and I'm gonna bring back with B Rob.
I don't dislike that at all. I mean, I think that there's even potential like to be able to run like a Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton stack here with obviously with a bring back maybe of the Brock Bowers, what we saw, because like you just said, they don't win. Bo Nix has got to score, and the only way the Raiders are scoring is with Brock Bowers. And then a weird ass run game. I mean, I see Gardner Minshew just ungodly just getting Brock Bowers the ball tomorrow. So
I feel like I'm gonna have him in all of those stacks I just mentioned, except for the golf one. I'll probably have Laporta.
Yeah, possible. I mean, yeah, I think so too. I mean, you could even do. I like that. I feel like there's going to be once tomorrow comes around, the Patrick Mahomes ownership is going to be higher than what it is right now due to the fact that they're playing Carolina. And then I like Baker Mayfield in the matchup against the Giants. We don't know, we talk about that game, but he gets Mike Evans back. It's always a good time when you get Mike Evans back. So
yeah, I agree with that
for sure. But yeah, Fresh, we appreciate you. Oh, what's up? What's up, Chandler? Hey, you need to get you a shirt. We need to get you a shirt. Cause you are a A1 right there, buddy. So we appreciate you too, Fresh. You know. But all right, y'all. Well, we appreciate y'all hanging in there with us, and we will catch you guys on Wednesday, like I said, for the Holyfield. I did not. I answered.
Brad is a season-long guy.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest on the DFS. Sorry, Fresh.
He's the football mind in this group. Like, he's the quiet, plotting ass coach over here. That's one that's gonna come out at the end. So, Jacoby or JMO?
Didn't we say Myers is gonna have Surtain?
He's gonna have Surtain.
Yeah,
he's the highest owned.
Thanks,
JMO,
Fresh. I appreciate it.
And that matchup
about to
tomorrow,
go
I like that Detroit
out.
matchup.
Oh,
if I had JMO, I think I might run JMO over Jacoby just because of the defense. But you don't have, obviously, I hope you're not running. If you have golf, that would make more sense. But yeah, I think, let me see something, what it says, what the projection is, because what Jacoby's is like 11 something. Jameson Williams. Yeah, they're about the same, dude. I think you go Jameson Williams because his matchup's better. Jacoby's, even though he's a number one, but I feel like Jameson Williams, even in a beat down last week against Jacksonville, had 23 points. So, and I feel like that the Colts will put up a little bit more fight. So I think you go JMO here. So, but anyways, your opponent has golf.
even better. If golf's scoring, you're scoring.
Yeah, but yes, I guess.
Can't worry about it from that.
Yeah,
points.
I think if golf scores, you're going to get the 6. You're going to match the 6. So it is what it is. I think so. I just feel like Myers has the chance of just not. I feel like it's possible they don't even score. They just go to sleep. I don't know. No run game whatsoever. A mid-tier run game, and it all goes to Brock Bowers because that's what we were talking about earlier. So I like Jameson Williams better. So
I'm gonna scoot out of here.
All right, we
wish y'all the best. Fresh, take it down for us tomorrow. All right.
All right, we'll catch y'all later,
Peace.
guys.